Welcome to the Heroes Global Championship, where Olaf is a better tank than Murd and the levels don't matter. Team Liquid is up 2-0 over their opponents, and Dignitas, they gotta bring it back.
Don't insult my boy Olaf.
I didn't insult him, man.
He's awesome.
I threw that out as a matter of fact. No sarcasm intended.
The stuns were actually crazy. It's one of the most undervalued things. Every good Vikings player know how many plays you can make after level 16 with Olaf, and Hazops is one of the best, if not the best. He's known for it, and they were so convinced that they could make this work that they actually picked the Vikings first in the last game.
So if you're Dignitas and you're going to game number 3 and you're thinking about the matchups, you could say, you know what? Early game, okay, Team Liquid, they've had this a few times. Mid game, we dominated. We got our lockdown, we knew what we were doing. Late game, we're starting to falter. How do you take those moments and really approach them and try to fix them before you go into game 3?
I'm a little bit worried for Dignitas. They had a tendency in the past at times to be a bit tilted, and it's not that they lost the 2 games, it's how they lost them.
Yeah.
Because the whole strategy that Team Liquid had was at first really banked on early game momentum, trying to drive that home. Then they lost that big fight and lost 3 heroes. And at that point, the only thing that brings you back is patience, making sure that the Vikings can get you back in play, and then in the late game, making those moments happen. And they made all of this a reality. And put yourself in the shoes of Dignitas. You dominate the first game, and you lose in the end.
Yeah.
Because of a fight at the boss that you misplay a bit, and all of a sudden your opponent 4v5s you, and you lose that battle, and from there on you lose the game.
Ugh.
Then you're like, okay, just happened, whatever, we can deal with this. This is still fine. Was a mistake, shouldn't have made it, but guys, keep calm. You go into Sky Temple and you dominate the mid game, as you said, and it's like, okay, this is it. They're never going to come back into this if we play this right. They do an excellent job controlling the Vikings, and then all of a sudden they just don't have that little bit that they need to drop that Illidan. How oftentimes was he on 10 hit points and then got a heal, an Aegis, a shield, anything, or just jumped out, used the Metamorphosis to jump away from there, and it would gnaw at me, and I am pretty sure that they are a little bit tilted. So if Team Liquid plays to that now, they have a good shot finishing this.
Well, let's get out of those shoes and get into flip-flops. It's time for the battleground here. Where are we going? It's going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen here for Team Liquid. And it seems that Dignitas wants to stay on top of his first pick rotation.
Yeah, they definitely are currently trying to do that. And Liquid had fantastic shows on all 3 maps. But I am so impressed by them. Granted, the games could have both gone in favor of Team Dignitas.
Easily.
But that's what we want from our big 3. That's what we want from the best teams in Europe. And Nurok said it yesterday. He said, hey, we feel so much more confidence now. We have a new coach, and it's not only... he said it's a mental block. When we struggled, it was just a mental block. Things didn't work out as we were hoping for. We didn't build up the momentum and team spirit that we used to. And once we got rid of that, we just felt we are once more in the shape that we were before. We can finally unleash our potential there. And they're doing exactly that. And from a mental perspective, couldn't have gone any better than that.
I mean, is potential code word for Darkmok on Illidan? Because seriously, him on the Illidan has been completely destructive on anything in the future. And they're allowing Illidan to be in the spot where it's like, okay, you sit in the side lanes, you do your thing, you go very Wubby-esque here, Darkmok, and we'll eventually meet up with you when we get into the late game later on. And we saw Illidan on this battleground in particular yesterday with a Lenara composition, so that has to be on Dignitas' mind.
And the thing is, if you're on Team Liquid right now, you are looking at the games you played so far and you say, hey, if we just won these 2 games, we can win anything.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out what the draft is going to hold for us, because Dignitas sure needs to bring their A-game now. They need to make a reverse sweep happen if they want to win this series. And while we have already seen reverse sweeps in the last 2 days, it's definitely still going to be a tall order to make that happen now. And Tassadar, a bit of a soft ban against this double support. Illidan comp, ban out right away.
Tassadar gone, but so is the Nubarak, as Team Liquid will answer back, and I like that. Lightning fast response from Team Liquid. Bam, a Nubarak's out. What you got, Dignitas? They're challenging him. They're ready for this draft.
All right, it's Uther again. Genji is out there. So we have Genji as a potential on the map. We've been talking about him a lot, and he is not being played. They go for Rega, and they go for Stitches. Wow. So the big question here, why Rega? You have the Stitches. You know that Malfurion is fantastic with the Stitches for the follow-up routes. You have to have something planned here. Maybe something around. We have seen a Bloodlust comp already today that didn't work out. Maybe Liquid has prepared one too. But their priority on Rhaegar is, I feel, a bit suspicious. As a first pick,
yeah,
even.
As a first pick, totally here with the Stitches too, especially what we've seen in the past with Genji and Greyman being on the field. Perhaps Rhaegar just gives enough of that oomph there where you can control those backline divers. I mean, you can drop down the totem. You also can move into Wolf Run. You can get to a spot where you can actually chase down that Genji if you need to.
I don't buy it.
Yeah?
There has to be something.
There's something fishy here. Yeah.
It's not going to be a Murky.
Well, when I say fishy, okay, let's get this out on the line here. Fishy does not equal murky, all right? We're good?
I don't trust you.
You have to trust.
That early Rhaegar is really weird because you might be afraid that Dignitas bans out a support in the second rotation, but I feel that the support that Dignitas would ban out would be more so after you see the Stitches, you would be more afraid of the Malfurion as a follow-up. So that Rhaegar has to be a key part of that strategy, and I am really curious to see what that is.
Well, we got a couple more slots until we find out what exactly Team Liquid has in store. There is something to say for the pickup of Stitches. It's taking away from JPL and saying, all right, this is Team of Spider Queen. This is Battleground where Stitches first started to be seen as a legitimate pickup before he was picked up everywhere by JPL. So Stitches now in the rotation. Medivh as the counterban here for Team Dignitas.
All right, now I want to see what Liquid does. That Rhaegar really throws me off. I could have seen a Malfurion together with the Stitches in the first rotation. That would have been no problem. You hook, you get the roots in. Rhaegar can later on supply something very similar after 16 with the Earthgrasp totem, but it's not something that you bank your hopes on as a follow-up on the hook. Even if you go into the level 1 totem, that helps, of course, but still. I still have, in the back of my head, there's something planned here. And I want to see right now what they're doing, but they're hesitating quite a bit.
What do you think about that ban on Medivh, though? I feel like Medivh is one of those bans that you can pick up later on to counter those cheeses here, unless you know for sure Team Liquid has something with Medivh down the pipe.
Could be. I don't know if they actually scrimmed a lot against each other. I've been focusing my scrim time on a few of the other teams, especially the newer ones, and I'm very intrigued here. Okay, so Illidan Oriel. Okay, so they want to go into... So they go for Rhaegar because they want to have the option to go ahead into the Illidan again, and they play this time the double support without the Tassadar, but simply say we have Oriel and Rhaegar for that. Just simply saying we need some burst heal outside of Oriel when she doesn't have Hope, and Malfurion just doesn't give you that. So you don't bank on the lockdown. They are really all-in on these Illidans. I actually think next week we're going to see Illidan bans against Team Liquid.
Yeah, it's a strong possibility for sure. Granted, we'll be on a different patch, so there'll be some different rotations in, but for the first couple of bans, yeah, just get rid of that Illidan. Don't allow it to happen. Team Liquid, do they automatically go into the volley here for that final pickup, or do we see that Lunara once again? The options are endless for them, unless they have that weird pickup possibly happening for them. Oh, gosh, the Medivh ban makes sense here because of Stitches into the value mill. You know, you do the gorge into pulling somebody behind and throw them in. There's Arthas and Tychus at 4th and 5th pickup for Dignitas. They'll have a pretty strong lineup that they've ran in the past. Very Dignitas-esque. All right, Team Liquid, what do you got?
What are they bringing? I like what Dignitas has. They have very good control here. They have once again, they have one real stun, but they also have, of course, now a bit of blow-up potential with the Greymane, also with the Cursed Bullet. They can jump on Stitches after a good route. What is Liquid pulling off as their last pick? They wait for a long time here. They have a couple of options of what they can go for if they want to have a ranged hero with a double support. They could even go into the Vala again that we've seen before. They go for the Lunara play once more that they already had. Okay, so those were the two big options. Either go into the Vala or you go into Lunara. Okay, so they played it with the Rhaegar again. I guess if you look at the draft, the Rhaegar early is just basically also a bit of necessity since you don't want to give too much away from what you're doing there.
Yeah.
Pardon.
The Rhaegar pickup right away. It also puts you into a spiral of like, wait, why are you picking up the Rhaegar? And then it winds up being nothing too insane. Same draft as yesterday pretty much for Team Liquid, and we're moving into it. So Slapjack saying the last fight by Team Liquid on Sky Tipple was just nuts. Oh my god, is Liquid back? So happy. RN, which means right now. I know my internet lingo.
I did not know that.
You're welcome.
That one went past me. What did I just witness? That's a very good question because I don't know myself. Illidan just solo fight 3 heroes. He is known to do that. And yes, Liquid is indeed a bit insane right now. But the question is still, can they win one of the next 3 potential games? Because Dignitas, again, could have won both of these games. So it's not like Team Liquid dominated them.
Yeah, it's not like they're destroying right now.
Yeah, but Dignitas has to actually say, okay, Dignitas could end up losing this 0-3.
Well, it's time to see if Dignitas can turn it around. Tomb of the Spider Queen, gain number 3 here. Team Liquid up 2-0. Can they finish it, or will Dignitas bite back?
We have Team Liquid versus Dignitas, and it is an insane series. 2 comebacks in a row, and Liquid has the lead thanks to it. To the left side, they start with Blumby on Stitches, Hazops on Oriel, Nurok on Lunara, Splendor on Rega, and Darkmog is playing Illidan, and he's feeling the hate of 10,000 years for sure.
To the right, and the red is Team Dignitas. Leading the charge here is going to be Bakery on Uther. JPL will play Arthas, Zalia on Leoric, Mane on Tychus, and Snitch will be showing off the Greymane.
Oh, this is definitely a sick series that we have. If you would have told me that Team Liquid takes a 2-0 lead against Dignitas after being behind in both games, I would have called you crazy. Dignitas just came in second at the mid-season brawl, nearly crowning themselves champion there. That's how good they were in the final with a perfect performance against Fnatic, and now Team Liquid is showcasing everyone that you should never count them out.
Never count them out, man, as Darkmog will be in the top, and Team Dignitas is hoping to shut down this Illidan. The Howling Blast is sidestepped there by Darkmog, and if that hits, Illidan dies. Great heads-up play there by Darkmog. Everyone else from Team Liquid makes a play here for the bottom lane, though, as they break down the turret. Yeah,
they take the turrets down. Zalia is still allowed to get the gems, but up to the top lane, we have a similar picture. Also a commitment by 4 heroes to the turrets. And we see the split in the middle and to the bot lane. It's all about opening the map up. And again, when we're talking about Illidan, we talk about him trying to control team fights, and what he needs is space. And oftentimes, when you see an Illidan composition, a crucial factor is the distance to safety of the opponent. And this is one of the reasons why initially on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Illidan was rarely played. Everyone saying he's not really good here. He doesn't get value. But once that you open up the map, once you take towers down and the forts, Illidan has of course a lot more room to work with, and that when he really comes online. So it's going to be that mid and late game when we are going to look towards Team Liquid's melee assassin once again.
Dignitas coming in though in game number 1, or game number 3 here, and getting the first kill on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Team Liquid, though, still just continuing to push in that bottom lane. Now, let's talk compositions here for Team Liquid. When do they really start to spike here? With that Lunara being in the late game, Illidan, of course, at level 10 being very effective. Dignitas in the early game has a lot of room here to be aggressive and do movements like this, where they come in and get their opponents locked down. Hoswabs is thrown across the map here on Ariel as Uther comes in with a stun, and Arthas brings in the damage.
Dignitas has taken the lead in experience for sure, and we will see Darkmog and his boys trying to just survive long enough to really bring this composition online. But the early game with the wave clear and the rotation is in favor of Dignitas, and they are going to attempt to make an early turn and happen, maybe get a second one on the back of it, get experience for this. But Liquid later on is very, very scary. Especially that damage output that we see from Lunara and also then Illidan. It's going to be rough for Uther to heal all of this out if the poke is proper.
Especially looking at the composition for Dignitas. They have 4 potential melees, 3 officially, 4 with Greymane. With that Splintered Spear, if it starts to hit multiple members, they will start to fall low on health. And Uther, while still pretty strong, does still have problems defending all of Lunara's damage when you get to the mid game. There is a eventual breaking point where Uther cannot keep up. Team Liquid will look to exploit that. So Dignitas in the early game, as you mentioned, they're wave clear. Everything about engages are important.
And it works twofold here. First of all, Illidan is such a chaotic force in the opponent's team during a fight that he opens up space for Lunara to do her work. So she should be a bit safer and should have just the space to work with so that she can get the attacks in. And then what happens is she slows the targets down, and that allows Illidan to stay closer to the target, get more auto attacks in, so the two really feed off each other.
They really do, man. They create such a chaotic state. We talked about it yesterday. Hang on real quick as Blumby is getting hit with the Howling Blast. Can he get away? Splinter with a heal. There's a grenade, though, and that will be a kill. This is a composition the Chinese meta showed at the Eastern Clash a couple months ago, and it's one that I don't mind being pulled in occasionally, especially right now when you're playing against all these Uthers. You eventually just get to a point where you can open up the battleground and be effective.
So the one thing to realize here is these kills that Dignitas gets are nice, but they are not game-breaking for Liquid, since Liquid accepts that they are losing the objective at first. So they know already that in the early game they're going to have a rough time. It's going to be a problem when they start losing gems. That's going to be the biggest issue. But they're not losing out on too much experience, because every single kill was on a lane where another hero was present to take over the XP. It's not an ideal scenario, don't get me wrong here, but it's still one of the things that Team Liquid will be able to bounce back from. The big deal is that right now, Dignitas is going to try and get a solid lead by taking down structures. And if they can do that, then Liquid could find themselves into a lot of trouble potentially when a second wave is going to be in play.
Exactly. How does Team Liquid stop this pressure coming in from the Web Weavers? And so far, they're doing okay here in the mid. In the bottom, in fact, they actually have Illidan is going against Liork and doing quite well. The top lane, though, is where they're starting to falter. Nurok's going to rotate in, but it might be too late, as all four members are here for Dignitas looking to kill off the fort. Hook goes off, but Mene gets out.
Good attainment strike and a decent hook, but not good enough to result in a kill. So the defense was decent, but still a lead for Dignitas in experience. And when we're looking at the gems, 34 have been turned in so far. And as long as Liquid gets a turn in on their own, they should be in a halfway decent position to catch up that in experience, close that gap here. But they need to make that work first, and Dignitas is going to do everything in their power to prevent it from happening. And if they can pull that off, then they might get a second turn in, and that's where things could really spiral out of control for Team Liquid.
Zillion getting caught here as Darkmonk's going to chase him down. The hook will come out. Blumby steps forward. The Web Weavers have been dropped off for Team Liquid.
Good job.
And they're hoping to tie up that experience here. Now, if Dignitas can clear us out relatively well, they'll be in a good spot to grab the forts on their next turn in, because they have a good amount of gems already on them as well. So Dignitas, let's see how they defend this push coming their way.
We're going into an even mid-game at this point, and that's what Team Liquid wants. Dignitas, they would have loved to snowball this a bit more, because they are not going to have the level 10 to defend against this either. So Liquid has a chance to catch up in experience to a certain extent, and then move into the mid-game on even footing. And that's what they're attempting to do here. But from a structural point of view, Dignitas is still ahead, and they want the kill, and they might get it. They go for Blumby, and they have the cleanse just barely saving Snitch. And the hook, on the other hand, against Snitch. That's the issue, and that's 12 gems down, and Greymane eliminated.
Team Liquid with a great turnaround. Splendor rotating from the top lane to help out Blumby was pivotal there. Allowed Blumby to turn around and bring out the hook. The fort in the bottom gets killed by Darkmonk, and Darkmonk is doing Darkmonk things.
Thanks to the kill against Greymane, they now can destroy everything. They took down the bot lane already. They have the earlier level 10. That kill was so important. It's a massive damage source on the side of Dignitas, and it's also their best poke that they have, thanks to the Greymane cocktail. So right now, Liquid, who were just a few seconds ago behind in experience with this Web Weaver wave, have taken down 2 forts, have taken an entire level lead, and are still pushing in the middle.
They're looking for the third here. You're right, they push in. Darkmonk again with the hunt will be available to move in for the rotation if they need to. Xaylia is looking for the fight. The Entomb comes out, and they're going to look for Blumby. Blumby dropping down the bile. He's going to walk forward here. Darkmonk jumps on Mene to slow him down and not allow him to burn down Blumby.
Odin, popped by Mene, gets 0 value here. Well, minion value. But the entire team is just moving away, saying, hey, you have Odin. All right, we move out of the fight. Of course, Mene is going to try and push this forward and put at least the pressure onto the fort itself. But this is a 4 versus 5. Leoric isn't here yet.
Narok's going forward here. Splinter Spear hitting 3 people, and he'll slow them all down. Darkmonk comes in. The Cursed Bullet does connect with Darkmonk, so he'll be forced to retreat. Finally, Xaylia does come back in, but they're turning around this fight. The hook comes out. It hits Snitch. Divine Shield from Bakery will save him.
Divine Shield, and that's another cooldown burn. But I also want to say that Illidan needs to be careful. He's holding 25 gems. I understand the tendency to drive this forward and be aggressive, but you have to be careful, because if you fall, it's not only the end of the team fight, it's also 25 gems down the drain that you need for the objective. And they turn it in, and you can already tell, now that Illidan has more space and how he works with Lunara, this is really tricky for Dignitas. The Splintered Spear connecting there, Lunara is pushing out so much damage, slowing everyone down, and Illidan is just capitalizing on the situation.
Yeah, he's able to move in there, strike forward, and bring up the damage.
Lunara has 25,000 hero damage by now. The second highest in the game is Snitch with a Greymane on 17,000, 18,000 now. So he's far behind Lunara. Lunara has so much space that she can do whatever she wants.
Well, currently, we're going to have Hasselhoff's in trouble. The Ancestor healing up from Splendor will keep Hasselhoff's alive. Darkmonk goes in for the harassment. Bakery taking damage, but JPL at the same time also being burned down. Hooks are flying, and they're connected. Snitch taken out, and more could fall.
Once again, we're seeing them moving in, and Lunara slowing down Bakery. This is the second kill. The fort is down. Liquid is bringing their pain. They bring the momentum. They move through the middle. Defense at the top and the bottom has started, but Nuruk is going in again. Nuruk can do whatever he wants here. This is the end of Arthas, and Lunara the entire time was never even touched. He can do whatever he pleases to do in these team fights. They are going for keep 9 minutes into the game.
And they're going to get it, too, easily. They're continuing to break it down. A 13 talent level advantage. They still have 7 seconds here before Arthas even spawns, thanks to the hunt there from Darkmonk, and they come in. And Team Dignitas realizing, okay, this is a moment where we got to make something happen. They're chasing, but with the slows from Lunara, Xaylia can't even get in a position to entomb. Finally, he hits it, but here's a helping hand. Team Liquid is back, baby.
All right, Bloomby, now we are just showing off. We have, I just want to give you the damage numbers again, just to highlight once more how Lunara is currently driving these fights. With Illidan creating space, she's at 35,000 hero damage compared to 22,000 on the side of Snitch. Lunara is completely going bonkers in the team fight because she is under no pressure. There's no one on her.
And how do you fix that if you're Dignitas? How do you apply pressure? Or this flank, which is difficult to pull off?
Changing targets is really rough for them, and locking her down is also a problem. Maybe you can jump on her with Greymane, but I don't even see that happening. This is just Team Liquid building a very cool comp that struggles in the early game, but their whole idea was give up the first, make a play for the second objective, and then run it from there. And they are doing this extremely well. And on the side of Team Liquid, there's nerfs coming into play now too. Xaylia missing the Entomb here now is just symptomatic for it. So they know they're in trouble, and oh my god, just look at JPL. The Divine Shield on Arthas, that should never happen, and that means that the backline can't have it. Here comes the Ancestral through the Aegis. Illidan jumps in, he kills Leoric, Snitch is falling, they're going for Bakery, and he is going to die too. This is a quad kill against Team Dignitas, and Liquid is breaking through the wall. They want to go for the core.
Dignitas has lost 50 gems too, but they may lose their core. You're right, Darkmonk's going straight for the core with an Illidan on it. That's not looking too good. Tyke's going to do everything he can to stop the pressure coming in from Team Liquid, but finally it's not looking like it could be a possibility as Darkmonk continues to auto-attack. Members are spawning, but that's it here. Team Liquid does what many would consider impossible and gets a 3-0 over Team Dignitas.
I'm speechless.
I think you should be. Honestly.
That was insane.
Yes, I can't believe Team Liquid actually pulled that off. The coordination, the level of execution from them has just gone up. That slump that they were going through, did that even exist?
What slump?
Yeah, right? Like right now, I mean, yes, they lost a few matches for a week or two, and we were like, is Team Liquid out? But right now, they just made a statement.
Again, just to put this in perspective, what just happened. Fnatic and Dignitas went to the mid-season brawl, and Team Liquid struggled at the end of Phase 1. And everyone was saying, they themselves included, that they have trouble. They have problems. They don't really know how to deal with all of this right now. They are trying to come back, but they really can't. Then we have even the American teams scrimming also against the Europeans during the mid-season brawl, and a lot of the other teams too. And a lot have echoed that Liquid doesn't really seem all that strong. Dignitas and Fnatic, yeah, they are really kicking ass right now, but Team Liquid, they're good, but they're not really on the same level. Yeah. We come back and we hear that echoed from a lot, but Liquid says, okay, we're confident. But everybody's just thinking, okay, how good are they really at this point? Can they rival Dignitas and Fnatic again? Because let's face it, those two ended up in the grand final of the mid-season brawl and played a fantastic series there. And now we all of a sudden see this. Quarknix earlier was talking about it too. He said like, yeah, we didn't scrim them too much. We don't know really where they are at. I think we do now. Yeah,
I think we have a good idea. In fact, we have Nurok currently here for the interview. Nurok, is Team Liquid back?
Maybe. Actually, I'm feeling super released right now. I expect, like yesterday I called it, we can contest them, we might beat them if we play really well. And actually I didn't expect a 3-0, but we just 3-0'd them, so I'm super happy.
Nurok, tell me about Illidan. Why is he all over the place and Darkmonk is absolutely shredding? Also, kudos to you. You had an insane rate of vengeance there on Sky Temple that saved the entire team fight, but tell me about this Illidan that you guys are mixing in.
So basically, we weren't participating at the mid-season brawl, and we just watched the metas clash with each other, and we just tried to copy or find our own style. We tried to find ideas, and we tried to just draft like the Chinese teams or like the Asian teams. Like we just tried to find good picks which fit us, and we just said, okay, Darmok last year he shredded everyone with Illidan, and we just picked him up again. The meta is really good for Illidan, and we had Illidan 3 times, I think, and yeah, I didn't expect such comebacks actually, but it was possible.
Well, it is cool to see, that's for sure. Congratulations on your 6-0 this weekend, by the way. I'm going to send you over to Caldor.
Ja, also erstmal herzlichen Glückwunsch. Geile Sache, Meister. Freut mich, dass da seid wieder.
What face?
Okay, so just talking quickly about the first 2 games. That comeback on especially Sky Temple was crazy. I think the strategy of the draft was that you just soak with the Vikings and you really try to keep momentum going with Illidan and just don't die. After you guys lost 3 heroes at the bot lane and really fell behind, what was the situation like in comms? What did you guys say? What was the plan?
Like, actually, I called that we need the Tassada Oracle for the Dehaka Burrow, and we knew that we need to use Auriel E for the Dehaka Lick. But we actually fucked up both in that situation. That's why 3 people died. We were 1 level ahead before that situation. Afterwards, we were 1 level behind. It happens. Afterwards, I said we can still win the game. And it was actually, I think, our biggest comeback we have ever had. Like, we got a really, really good boss pit fight. Like, Auriel is unbeatable on boss pit fights. And actually, they didn't realize that we were doing boss. Like, we were kiting to the right side, and they were on the left side, positioned aggressively, and we just got the boss kind of for free. And afterwards, we had a miracle fight at the boss pit, and that kind of made the comeback possible.
What was the atmosphere in Voice after that? After you won 2 games and you made 2 comebacks happen that looked crazy, you must have thought, okay, they can't beat us anymore, right?
I mean, so basically, we beat them the first 2 games with Holy Trinity, with Vala, Auriel, Tassada, and I thought they would deny both. But I also thought they would not expect the Auriel again, since we had Rhaegar picked already. They went for the Tassada ban, we got the Auriel again, and we just went for Lunara this time. I called for Lunara because I knew I would get a lot of value, and basically in my opinion, we just outdrafted them 3 times in a row. Like the second draft was kind of a bit of cheesy. It was a Chinese draft. They played it at the mid-season brawl. We bait the enemy team into view for first pick, and we just pick Lunara, and they will just die if they cannot all in us. Pretty simple.
All right. Congratulations again. It was amazing to watch, and I cannot wait to see you guys go up against Fnatic and how the rest of the season pans out.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Let's actually talk about that. Your weekend concludes with a 6-0, which is impressive in itself, but next week you will face off against Fnatic. Early thoughts about the matchup?
I mean, they played very, very well at the mid-season brawl. Like, they are the world champions, and they beat everyone. Since we beat Dignitas 3-0, I think if we have very good drafts against Fnatic and if we can play our own game, we can give them a good series and we might even beat them. But it will be a close series for sure. It will not be a 3-0.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. Nurok, thank you again for coming on. And before we let you go, of course, your floor is open for shoutouts.
So basically a shout out again to all the people who are not trolling me in EuroLeague. Today, I won almost every game. I'm very happy. A shout out to my girlfriend, Anastasia. Shout out to all our fans who are still believing in us, even with the Liquid curse. Maybe we broke it, not quite, but maybe soon. And shout out to our sponsors, Ballistics Gaming, Monster Energy, and Razer. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations. Also a shout out to the stuffed gerbil back there in the back right. So, Team Liquid comes out and they come swinging, and everyone has the answer to the question. Is Team Liquid back? Can they compete against in the top 3? And right now, it may be a bit early to say, but yes, they are ready.
I'm blown away by that result still. 3-0, there is no way I would have believed that. None. We were talking about it this morning, and I was saying this morning, even if Liquid doesn't win, if they take 2 maps, that would be a success in my opinion, just because they are saying, hey, we are back in the top 3, we can rival these teams that just excelled at the mid-season brawl, and now we get this result. That was mind-blowing. So I am extremely happy for especially us and you guys out there, because we are in for a hell of a season.
Yes, phase 2